boys and girls, Tulsa Sound Podcast time is here. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
All right.
This is host Oscar Padron.
Hello,
and
everyone.
I'm your Ed McMahon, Mr. Eric, tonight.
That's right. I am your host, Oscar Padron.
That's right.
And joining me to my left and my other left is Eric, Mr. Eric.
I'm just here to do like, what is it they call it? The surprise face stuff, you know. Oh, reactions.
Reactions. We're going to talk about the Tulsa Sound tonight.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We're going to give you some facts. And in this episode of the Tulsa Sound Podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about 25 lesser-known rock and roll music facts. And play a little game.
Yeah, cool. You've kind of got a real organized thing tonight there.
Yeah. And after that, we're going to show you some classic commercials.
Classics.
We're going to have music from Todd Hardcreator and Anthony Pierce.
Scotty Dogga's brother.
Yes, and they're going to be doing some...
Scotty Dogga!
They're going to be doing Blue Yodel No. 4 and the Johnstown Flood. So stick around for those two videos from those guys doing some red dirt picking. And towards the end of the show, we're going to have Manhattan Island Serenade from Brad Abshire and Stephen White. So,
amazing. Oh, crap. Oh,
what's going on? Is that your ride, Mr.
While
Eric?
the cops are coming, we're going to break away for some commercials, and we'll be right back at the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
All right.
Get out while you can.
Penis. Say penis.
Penis.
Louder.
Penis.
Give me another word for penis.
Prick.
Prick. Peter.
Cock.
Cock.
Rod.
Rod.
Dick.
Dick.
Frick.
Frick. We've got it.
Me.
What?
Ding
Me?
dong.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Wine. Tool.
Juan. Right one.
Wiener.
Wiener.
Talking about and using sexual terminology is difficult for many people because of the guilt and embarrassment from our heritage.
Let's all say them, okay? Frick. Frick. Peter. Cock. Rod. Dick. Meat. Ding dong. Juan. Wiener. Tool.
Back to the tool joint.
All right.
Welcome back to the tool joint. You know, that was really a great PSA. Where the hell did you find that?
Those were the types of educational films they showed us in junior high school.
Oh.
The teacher would stand up in front of the class during a health class, and they wouldn't say, any part names or anything, but they'd show you that film.
Oh, my Lord.
So that's an educational film.
When I was in high school, all they showed us was those driver's ed movies where people got like their face torn off.
Blood on the asphalt.
Yeah, highways of agony. Certain death for all drivers.
There's always like a 1962, highway patrolman with a buzz cut and glasses being very upset with you for driving and not paying attention.
He was late to work that morning, but he wishes he hadn't been. Yeah. Heavy stuff. Well, anyway.
So I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back.
Well,
yeah,
yes. My allergies were contract related, but we'll not go into that tonight. But at any rate, yes, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. So we've got some things here. We've got 25 lesser-known rock and roll music facts.
Huh.
So I'm just going to... You're probably familiar with these, as you are a music aficionado.
Well, yes,
and a lot of our audience is probably familiar with some of these.
They are up there. The peanut gallery's ready to go. But
I know that there are some that you're not familiar with. So we're going to start off with the Beatles' haircuts. Did you know, Mr. Eric, that they were inspired by a man named Klaus Voormann?
Klaus Voormann,
yes,
the original.
And they were a friend that they met in Hamburg. He was a friend.
Right. He was an artist. He did the artwork for the cover of Rubber Soul.
So before they went to Hamburg,
Klaus Voormann was
and
a founding
grew up,
member of Trio.
They did not have the stereotypical. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. They didn't have those Beatles haircuts that they're known for. But by the time they
the
got
mop
back,
top.
the mop top. By the time they got back from Hamburg,
they were mop topping.
They were mop topping.
Their tops were mops. Those mop top nutty. The Beatles, ladies and gentlemen.
The Beatles experts will tell you that the Beatles did grow up in Hamburg. They
By the way,
raised
mentioning the Beatles,
Britain.
I would like to, in the same breath, say Peter Mayo.
Yes.
If there is one Tulsa music man that is more of the Beatles than Peter Mayo, I would not know who he was.
This is true. This is true. Huge
And
Beatles fan.
So when Peter, he will be playing sometime this summer at Utica Square for one of the outdoor concerts that they do, and they pick. I think every year they do a different Beatles album.
Yeah, he does that typically, and at his Halloween party as well.
Yeah. So Peter, we're looking forward to seeing the Beatles this year, and yeah. Let's have more trivia. Bring on the trivia.
Right. So Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven was never released as a single. Did you know that?
Wow. Well, I actually didn't know that. But
it was never released as a single.
Son of a gun. Well, I had the album early on. This guy, Bill List, who's a dude I went to junior high school with, he was almost like internationally famous because he had managed to slip one of those out of TG&Y.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we all got to listen to it for a week. And we learned Stairway to Heaven off that record, actually. And so, but never as a single.
Huh.
Never as a single, ladies and gentlemen.
So,
why?
I understand that power because I used to work in a record store and I would listen to records before their official release day on Tuesday, and I thought, ooh, I'm the only one that's ever heard this song in the whole city. Man. So it was probably every record store had somebody like me in it that was listening to Pearl Jam before its official release.
That's right, back
with
there,
the door locked.
Bootlegging that CD. Uh-huh.
So did you, Mr. Eric, speaking of a little music here, the Rolling Stones actually used a wax dummy of Brian Jones on the cover of Let It Bleed.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
What does that say to us? That's well, and that's interesting too because I'm in this little band and we do a lot of Rolling Stone songs, and it's interesting when you do the Stone songs that had a Brian influence, you can instantly tell them when you're playing.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit different, and the world lost him too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, kicked out of the Rolling Stones.
Don't get kicked out of your band, become a hard drug addict, and then go swimming.
Because they'll make a wax effigy out of you and put you on the album cover.
Avoid the pool at all costs.
All right, moving on here.
Okay.
Elvis Presley was a natural blonde. He started dyeing his hair black for an edgier look.
I think that says it all. Well, Elvis, the man knew how to work a dude, didn't he? He was like a mop top in that respect. His top was really kind of more like a sort of a tar mop.
Elvis was jealous of the Beatles.
Yeah.
And worked in conjunction with Nixon to have John Lennon kicked out of the country, to have him deported.
And look what happened to him.
Yeah, it's a sad day.
Karma is a bitch, especially on the toilet. Okay.
All right, our next fact is about AC/DC.
I'm ready.
AC/DC's Angus Young wears a schoolboy uniform.
He does, yes.
Because his sister suggested it.
His sister?
Yeah.
Does he realize that she was like fucking with him and that everybody's laughing at his ass?
Well, looking at him now that he's like 83 and still out on stage wearing it, it's gotten crazy.
It pays, I mean, he's working a trend now. You can't blame a man for staying on the right course.
The next little known music fact is this: Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit" was named after a deodorant brand. It really was.
Well, I thought it was a perfume.
A young lady's. It was
perfume.
Like a girl's deodorant.
Oh, well, I thought it was a perfume, but it smells like Teen Spirit to me.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that Teen Spirit. Oh.
U2's album, The Joshua Tree,
it
is
smells like
named
Teen Spirit
after a type of desert plant.
That's right, the Joshua Tree. They took their picture in front of it.
Yes, absolutely. The Who's Pete Townsend was the first to smash a guitar on stage and coin the term power chord.
Probably on purpose. I mean, there was other people, I'm sure, that did it by accident.
Sure.
But, what can you say about that? Those aren't going to count, are they?
Well, you got to be Pete Townsend in front of the media for it to count. Jimi Hendrix was discovered by the Animal Space's Chaz Chandler.
Chaz Chandler.
Yeah, but before that, didn't he already play with several notable blues and R&B musicians before that?
Yeah, he had one. He played bass for a while. I think he
played in James Brown's band.
Well, I thought he played with the Isley Brothers.
He did play with the Isley Brothers.
But I also know that, when he was in the Army, Billy Cox, who became the bass player for Band of Gypsies later on, they were friends, and because because he had jammed with that guy for so many years. He's like, man, that's who I really want to get back to playing with. And but yeah, interesting. And again, we lost him at 27, folks.
27.
What's the deal about that number? I want to know. I want to know.
Yeah, leave it in the comments below. If you have a theory on why rock stars die at 27, let us know.
Let us know, please.
Okay, so Fleetwood Mac took
Yep.
10 months to record Rumors.
Huh.
And how I knew I was over my divorce was that I could listen to Fleetwood Mac again. Those songs on Rumors will tear you up if you're going through a divorce, man, and you won't be able to listen to it. There's no way. I don't care who you are. You can't listen to Fleetwood Mac Rumors during a breakup. But I knew mine was over once I was able to listen to it again. Pink Floyd's album The Wall was adapted into a movie in 1982.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that.
What? You've never seen Sir Bob Geldof as Pink Floyd?
No.
Holy crap, man.
Haven't seen it.
Dude. Oh, boy. Well, we're going to watch it because it's a mind blower. And Bob Geldof goes over the top in his role because he truly captured the insanity of an insane rock star.
Huh. Speaking of insane rock
Shaved
stars.
his eyebrows for the gig. Huh. And there's no guarantee they're going to grow back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's true.
No guarantee.
That's true.
So let's hear it for Bob Geldof. Eyebrow man. Eyebrow man.
The Doors name comes from Aldous Huxley's book, The Doors of Perception.
Doors of Perception, yeah.
And, that's something I learned in 7th or 8th grade,
Well,
but I was a huge Doors fan when I was a kid.
Yeah, you were.
Black Sabbath was originally named Earth.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No, I really didn't.
Yeah, and here's another fun one. The Eagles Hotel California.
Oh, look.
And Mr. Eric's wearing his Eagles hat tonight.
The Long Goodbye. Jeez, is it ever?
The
Okay,
Eagles
go ahead.
Hotel California was recorded in Sierra Studios in Miami, Florida.
Oh, my.
They didn't record that in
That
California
Don
at
Henley.
all.
That Don
Well,
Henley.
they needed to be near the cocaine, and what better place than Miami?
What better place? It's the only place. It's the place to be. Simply the place to be.
Guns N' Roses, Mr. Eric.
Yeah, I know
Appetite
that.
for Destruction was initially poorly received by critics. Went on to be one of the biggest metal albums of all time. And nothing will get you fired up like those first, the first side of Appetite for Destruction.
With me, that band is like Slash is the greatest, but man, dealing with that little man, the singer.
Yeah, he ruined it. There was a 9 or 10 month period where he could have gone down.
Listen, just thinking about him has set off my car alarm. I swear to God.
Axl Rose is currently in the parking lot starting another riot.
Fred Durst will do that to a person, by the way. I just want to say it. I said it last show that I was here, and I'm going to say it again. Fred Durst just does that to people. Ask Rogan, he'll tell you. Go on Rogan's show, say, Joe, I got a question for you. And he'll say, what is it, man? And he'll say, Fred Durst. He'll go, oh, shit, man. Oh, shit. He does it, I was talking to Tyson the other night on the phone. He's like, yeah, man, he does that to people. And I knew it. So anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did.
Aerosmith's Dream On.
They canceled.
Yes, they're officially retired, but their song Dream On.
Well, their show here in Tulsa canceled.
No, they're retired. It's all the whole tour is canceled.
Well, there you go, ladies and
Whole
gentlemen.
tour is canceled, so get your money back.
It's kicking our butt down there at work. That was going to be a big show.
It
Go
was.
ahead, give me that trivia. I'm
Okay,
ready
so
for it.
Aerosmith's Dream On took 6 years to reach the charts. And I don't know exactly why, but it took that long.
I had Toys in the Attic on 8-track.
That was a good record.
It really was. And right in the middle of the song, 10-inch record, it faded out and then silent and then ka-dum, and then it would fade back.
So Metallica's first bassist was a guy named Ron McCovney.
Yeah, that was before Daniel Miller joined the group.
Metallica's first bassist, was Ron McCovney, but Pearl Jam was
Pearl
originally known as Mookie Blaylock.
I think they should have gone with that name.
Mookie, I believe, was a baseball player at the time.
Well, they blew their opportunity, but I'm just going to hold my opinion.
The Clash's Joe Strummer was a diplomat's son.
son of a gun.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Stuart Copeland was a son of a spy.
Huh, really?
Yeah, his father was a big man in the CIA, and they
Wow.
grew up overseas.
I did not know that.
Listen, it's the calliope of the federal reach of the United States military.
What's the British Secret Service called? The M5?
MI5.
The MI5, yeah.
Yeah, that's the MI5 theme song right there. Okay, thank you. Thank
Eric
you, Calliope
Clapton
Man.
wrote Layla about George Harrison's wife, Patty Boyd.
Yes, but did you know who wrote the second part or the coda of Layla?
No, I don't.
Dickie Sims.
Dickie Sims, Tulsa's own Dickie Sims.
Came carrying that one in. So when it gets to the part where it goes to the ending and it dun 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 dun, yeah.
Wow.
That was out of Dickie's pocket.
Well, there's your
and-
Tulsa Sound connection
So
right
see,
there.
that's a big Tulsa Sound connection. You know, everybody here in Tulsa, all of our listeners know about the Eric Clapton connection here with Tulsa and the Tulsa Sound.
Absolutely.
And in an upcoming show, we're going to really home in on that because crazy things were happening around this town, late 60s, early 70s.
A lot of people involved.
My former drummer, best friend, and roommate John Latta was sitting on his front porch when a little brown Volvo pulled up, and George Harrison sticks his head out the window and says, "Excuse me, but you do know my way to Leon's house." And my friend just about lost his mind.
Yeah, he was looking for Leon Russell,
was
literally going door to door.
He owed him a lot of money, and little Leon, look, little Leon's like, I'm moving on down the road where. Anyways,
So, did you know this, Mr. Eric?
No.
The Ramones took their band name from an alias Paul McCartney would use.
I had no idea.
He would check into hotels as the Ramones.
Son of a gun.
Isn't that great?
That is great. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. The boys, they're crazy.
Leonard Skinner was named after a high school gym teacher.
Yep.
Their high school gym teacher that would give them hell, try to get them suspended, make them run extra laps,
Leonard
made their
Skinner.
life a living hell, tried to get them kicked out of school.
Those boys needed a haircut. Coach is telling the boys they need a haircut.
But it's true. They got
true.
pissed off at him, and then they named their band after
That'll
him
teach you.
as revenge.
That'll teach you, teacher.
Janis Joplin bought a headstone for Bessie Smith's unmarked grave.
Well, that is a wonderful thing.
Isn't that a wonderful
She
thing?
was a sweet girl.
To find out about her. Yes,
I
yes.
wish I'd have known her.
The Beach Boys' Pet Sounds was a major inspiration for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper.
Well, I knew that they felt some form of competition with all that.
Yeah,
Well-
absolutely.
I hear Black Sabbath, otherwise known as Earth, coming up in the background. So we're going to jump out to another commercial real quick, and then we're going to be right back with a little bit more trivia here in
Yeah,
just
we
a
got a few
couple of
more.
minutes. Please stick around. Tulsa Sound
Stick with us.
Podcast. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Wow, the new Pontiac! What a sweetheart! A Pontiac! What a beauty! The new Pontiac. What a gas.
Don't get left behind. See your Pontiac dealer and break away.
Oh,
All right, we're back.
White
We're
Track
back.
and Pontiac. Man, what a cool commercial.
Wasn't
Dude, did
that
you
great?
see who was in that commercial? Lon Chaney Jr. was in that commercial.
So many old Western actors as well.
Yeah.
All those guys are character actors.
Yes, and
They've been in 1,000 Westerns.
and Star Trek too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys would often do Star Trek and Westerns. And Star Trek was just a Western in space.
We thought you guys would like that also, knowing that Pontiac may be coming back.
Hopefully.
May be coming back.
I was telling young Ruben earlier, those cars drove like a dream,
Man.
rode like a waterbed, and they were just fabulous.
Best car I ever had for running.
Power steering.
Was a 1988 Pontiac Grand Safari wagon that moved my wife and I here from Richmond, Virginia. Bought that car for $200. Pulled an overloaded trailer over the Blue Ridge Mountains and down here to Tulsa.
Good Lord.
And oh, what a car that was. It must have been built on a Tuesday afternoon right after the union contract ratification. That's all I can say, ladies and gentlemen. Contract union ratification!
So,
All right,
Mr.
thank
Eric,
you, guys.
in
God bless.
1950, the term rock and roll was first used by DJ Alan Freed.
Yeah,
Do you know anything about Alan Freed?
Well, Alan Freed was a DJ.
Yeah, and he was the host of an American bandstand-like show
Yeah,
where the
and-
kids danced.
And he was the first guy to use the term.
Rock and roll, although
Rock
it
and roll.
had been used in the African American community long
Yes,
before
oh,
that
yes.
to describe sexual acts.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I also read that. Chuck Berry was among the first guitarists to define rock and roll guitar. Him and Carl Perkins.
As a sex act.
As a defined genre. Carl Perkins and Chuck Berry were among the first guitarists to ever define what rock and roll was on guitar.
Tool, joint,
Yeah. Elvis
pickle,
Pickle.
Bobby. Go. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on that thing we saw a little bit earlier. Sorry, folks. Go ahead.
So Chuck Berry and Carl Perkins were among the first guitarists to define the rock and roll genre on guitar.
They were.
During that time, Elvis Presley was huge.
And Bo Diddley.
But Elvis never performed outside of North America. He never did a gig in Canada, Mexico, the UK, nothing.
He was a little paranoid.
He was a little
paranoid.
He was paranoid. Buddy Holly was one of the first to use double tracking in the studio. Did you know that, Mr.
I knew
Eric?
that. I knew that. He was also the first to own his own songs.
Ah, great move, Buddy Holly.
Great move. Buddy Holly set a lot of standards for later artists to reclaim their rightful, their rights and their control of their own music. And he did it just simply because he could. They wanted him that bad, and he said, if you want me that bad, this is the way it's going to be.
So Little Richard...
And he was portrayed by none other than Tulsa's own. We
Gary-
want him on this
Gary
show.
Busey.
I want you on
We have
this
buttered
show.
sausages for Gary Busey. When you come on the
Gary.
show, Gary,
If you come to Tulsa
And he will.
anytime, I want you to come, and you can get a hold of us. Just go online and drop it. And Gary, I don't think you'd be the greatest guest we ever had.
so moving on.
That includes Abshire. Go ahead.
Little Richard started out in a drag house in the outskirts of Atlanta.
What?
That's where he started out.
The undying queen of rock and
Yes,
roll?
but he also significantly influenced the Beatles and is known for his flamboyant style. But without Little Richard, there'd be no Beatles.
That's right, because
There
Paul
wouldn't.
McCartney goes, woo! And that's
The Rolling Stones got their name from a Muddy Waters song.
that's right. Yeah, we knew that.
The song was entitled Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Jimi
And
Hendrix.
on Rolling Stone.
Jimi Hendrix was the highest paid performer at Woodstock.
And well worth it.
Absolutely.
Had to pay back
the
all
lowest
those-
paid performer at Woodstock was Sha Na Na.
Well, and but they were an up and comer at the time.
Yeah.
And also, one of my rock posters from '73 was Sha Na Na and Rare Earth at the Assembly Center.
I got to admit it. I used to watch the Sha Na Na show
Dude,
every Saturday.
Bowser
evening.
Bowser is it.
We'd watch Sha Na Na and
I was at the Tulsa State Fair, and Sha Na Na was performing at the big stage in the IPE building in the afternoons and in the evenings, right? And we were walking. We had just come out of the north end of the north side of the building, the doors down near the east side, and we walk out, and there's fucking Bowser standing right outside smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, oh God. It's Bowser. Now, in my life, I've had this experience with a few people, Leon Russell, Johnny Cash, but seeing Bowser was, because I just watched him perform, and he's like,
that's how I felt when I met Jimmy Dean.
oh yeah?
The guy that makes a little breakfast sausages.
Pork sausage?
But he also had one hit country song,
Yeah.
Big John.
Big John.
Big John.
He was 10'5" and walked
Big
with a limp.
John.
Some people dared to call him again, Big John. Big John. He'd kick your ass and kiss your lips, and then he'd ask you to bend over and strip. That's Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Moving on.
Okay, so the Kinks were temporarily banned from touring in the U.S. in 1965 for rowdy behavior.
Yeah. And
Can't have that rowdy behavior.
well, it wasn't only them, but it was the crowds, too. The band was bad enough because they would kind of fight on stage like the Oasis boys will do now. But the fans, I recently read an article about this, and it was just horrible. Ray Davies was like, the people were, they were trying to physically attack us everywhere they went, and they weren't ready for it. In fact, it's what made them become, it tamed the Kinks a little bit.
Yeah.
They became less of a rock and roll bad boys after that experience.
All right, here's a little known music fact. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 14-year-old cousin.
Well, I hope so. As pregnant as she was.
Now, what
it was
Jerry
gonna
Lee
be-
had to say about that was this. A lot of people have had sex with their cousin. At least I married mine.
Little Leon, what do you think about that?
Of course, that's cringe in today's world.
Crazy to me. Okay.
But there were many of us whose grandparents got married at 14, 16.
Yep.
Grandma was 15,
Yep.
Grandpa 19.
Well,
it was
yep.
really a common thing in the 30s
Common.
and 40s.
Common.
And so it's viewed very, very differently today.
People only lived to their 40s back then.
Yeah, it's true. People dropped dead early.
Drop dead.
And so they got married early. And we live in a different time now where that's poo-pooed. It is
Poo-poo.
viewed as something unsavory.
No,
and,
no touchy.
but that's what Jerry Lee had to say about it. He said, well, at least I married mine.
Well, now, at least I married mine.
Janis Joplin was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995.
Well, I'm glad. She deserved it.
She did deserve it.
More than anybody else.
Whenever
I'd
I
say.
saw, her whole thing is I just saw a person that was just indelibly wounded, a person who was hurt, and you could hear it in her music, you could see it on her face. She sang the blues. I mean, it really, she didn't fake it. It was,
She
what
was
you
a
heard
damn
was
kook. She
Yeah.
was a kook. She was a kook from Texas, close enough to Louisiana to be real kooky.
Okay, the Eagles' greatest hits album
Yeah, I got the hat on.
was the best-selling album of the 20th century in the U.S. Period.
What does that say about our society, ladies and gentlemen? What does it
It
say?
says they like the Eagles.
Well, they do.
Pre Miami Vice Eagles.
Well,
I'm not much of a fan of post Miami Vice
witchy
Eagles.
woman. Witchy woman.
Stevie Nicks is the only woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice.
Wow. Once,
she's in
once
with
as
Fleetwood
Fleetwood
Mac.
Mac,
Yeah.
and once as Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. She's the
Wow.
only one.
And she's a real sweetie, too.
Oh yeah, I've always had a crush on her.
Oh. I think the audience wants you to give her a call, man. Oh, that
So
audience.
Elton John's
Love you
Rocket
guys.
Man was inspired by a Ray Bradbury short story.
Yeah?
So yeah, even Elton John borrows. We all do it. If you're an artist, you're borrowing something from somewhere.
Bernie Taupin, technically. But yeah.
Bernie Taupin did that.
I get it.
Ah, well, Elton John gets the notoriety here,
Yeah.
and it was a Ray Bradbury short story.
Yeah.
AC/DC's name means alternating current, direct current.
I thought it was some kind of sexy thing. Like, I can be this, I can be that. I can be... No,
Buddy Guy
Buddy Guy.
is known as the pioneer of the Chicago blues sound.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and Pryor secretly loved Buddy Guy, and he would do some Buddy Guy without letting people know.
Oh.
And if you asked him whose was that, and he'd tell you somebody else, but really
He'd
be
say,
Buddy Guy.
that's Stevie Nicks.
Joan Jett co-founded the Runaways at age 16.
That she did. She was a runaway.
Yeah, and there's been a lot come out about the guy that produced those records and their band manager. He was a real creep.
Ooh.
Real creep.
Well,
Eric and I were talking about this earlier. Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi lost the tips of his fingers and wore prosthetic fingertips
that's right.
during that whole time of
Oh,
Black
and also,
Sabbath.
that's why he started playing left-handed.
I did
Because
not know that.
he had to shift over so that his strumming hand could be the hand that he's wearing the prosthetic.
And I don't quite know how he lost his fingertips. Do you know how he
Yes, a circular saw.
Oh, my God.
Yes, the worst way possible.
Jesus.
And folks, I want to tell each and every one of you, when you use your saws and tools, be real careful, man. I've had a lot of friends that have really gotten hurt over the years by, picking up a board and cutting and not realizing your fingers are back there, or putting it across your knee and not realizing your legs under
use
there.
a push stick.
Yeah, use a
Tony
push stick.
Iommi will tell you.
Yeah, here's a little Aussie. Yeah, Aussie moment. Okay, even though that's fucking Randy Rhoads. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Bruce Springsteen earned his nickname The Boss for handing out paychecks at the end of the night to his band and crew.
I thought it was because he worked at a 7-Eleven.
No. Oh, hello, boss.
Hello, boss.
Hello, boss.
Hey, have a nice day. Hello. I swear to God. Get
No,
that.
Bruce actually pays everybody at the end of the night. At the end of the gig, you get your money from Bruce.
Wow.
Yeah.
One time, Tony Mills, he was going on stage with Dave Barber. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Springsteen is the boss, but we have the assistant manager, Dave Barber."
I like that.
David fired the entire band. Okay.
So moving on, the Sex
Dave,
Pistols.
you know that happened.
This-
You know it happened.
The Sex Pistols were signed and dropped by 2 record labels in 1977 before releasing their first album and embarking on their first American tour.
That's amazing. So they were washed up before they ever started.
They were washed up before they got fired twice.
Well, that's
dropped.
what, Johnny Rotten, he said it all, didn't he?
Well, he said a lot of things, that guy's.
Yeah, but he's also, he's going through a thing where he's caring for a family member who is very ill, or maybe they've already passed. But it really it gave him a new sense on life. And I've seen some interesting interviews with him lately, and he's a pretty cool
John
guy.
Lydon.
He knew back then he was being a punk. He knew it,
Yeah.
and that was what they were paid to do. And he said,
Yeah.
"I did it the best I could." Well, that was great trivia game, man. I
Yeah.
love the trivia game. Trivia game, we all love it. Don't you guys love it? Our peanut gallery up
A little bit of rock and roll trivia for you, and we'll have more of this in the future if this is something you guys like. Well, I liked it, Eric liked it, so we're
I
probably
like
going to
it.
do it again.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump out now for another quick commercial, and then we will be right back with the next section of
Stick around. It's time to roll one up.
Tulsa
Time to
Sound.
burn one and watch a Tulsa Sound podcast.
You like the way I say that? Podcast.
I like that.
A 66 Impala Super Sport with a high-performance 427 turbojet challenges some of the highest horse-powered cars on the road today. Buick Wildcat, Pontiac GTO and Grand Prix, Old Starfire, Ford LTD and Plymouth VIP. And here they go, Chevrolet leaving them all in the dust.
All right. We are back. with
As
the Tulsa
promised,
Sound podcast.
I promised them. Look, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight
Tonight.
on the Tulsa Sound
On the
Podcast,
Tulsa Sound podcast.
more serious things.
Serious things.
Bullet-riddled bodies. The cost of being smart in America. When is too much too much? Oh, yeah. Well, we're having a good time here tonight.
We are, and we are so glad that you have joined
Friday
us
night.
tonight. Here we are.
Case night in the city.
You know, if you're
Play
enjoying
night.
this
I came to
program, we've got 17 other episodes up for you. So dig back in the catalog, have a blast, spend the afternoon doing a Tulsa Sound podcast, binge watch, and get up to speed on the Tulsa Sound podcast.
It'd be like eating a bag of vomit. Well, in reality, it seems like just 3 years ago, we got that first program on the air, and I remember that so well. Things have really come a long way since then, and of course, we've now moved here to our beautiful television studio on the 77th floor of the Atlas Life Building in downtown Tulsa. That's right up there at the top where the little tile roof is, and I know that you guys would love to have a studio tour, but you're not going to get it. So we just want you all to know that we appreciate those of you that take time out of your life to share a few minutes with us and have a little bit of fun. That's really what this is about. We're certainly not making any money.
No. But if you like what you see and you like the show, there is a way that you can support the show.
There is a way. There is a way.
Mr. Rubin is going to pull up our QR code for you.
Roll that beautiful QR code footage.
And if you like the program, if you like the type of program that this Tulsa Sound podcast is, the only way that you can support the show is to get your phones out right now.
Get that Vimeo.
And open up your camera app and point it at the Venmo. This is how you can support the show directly. Guys, this is a community project, and, as members of the community, we're going to be shameless here and just tell you we need your funds. We absolutely do in order to continue. So
let me
if
tell
you like the show, if you like what me and Eric do, and let us know how we're doing, by the way. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. But if you're feeling generous, if you're feeling kind, and you want to continue helping us make the Tulsa Sound podcast a regular part of your life, please send us a donation in that.
Yes. Hashioka is the Seminole word for bleeding money. So we really need your help. Actually, the fact is we've got, like any public access television station, just like Wayne's World, just like NPR, we have a lot of overhead costs that, because of the fact that we do not have currently solicited sponsors. However, we do have a few sponsors, even though they're not really paying us any money. Number one sponsor tonight, again, for the second week in a row, Santeria Smoke Shop and Smoke Emporium, located on Old West Highway 66. Santeria has all of your Santeria worship needs and $1 pre-rolls all week long. Happy hour, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Roll in for a morning croissant.
If you feel the need to burn candles on somebody.
Santeria.
If you need some gru beads, get
Get
down to the Santeria.
So that's where you want to be. Santeria.
Coming up next on the Tulsa Sound Podcast, we've got a live performance for you to enjoy from Anthony Pierce of Cowboy Jones with Todd Hardcreeter doing Blue Yodel No. 4 by Jimmy Rogers.
Let it roll.
So here it is. Enjoy it. Blue Yodel No. 4.
Todd Hardcreeter. Here we go. Scotty Duggan's brother.
Well, she's long and lean, she's 6 feet from the ground. Well, she's long and lean, she's 6 feet from the ground. Well, she's tailor-made, she don't wear no hand-me-down. That's the Jimmy Rogers song. Todd's my Yoda. She's got eyes like a diamond and her teeth shine just the same. She got eyes like diamonds and her teeth shine just the same. She got ruby red lips and hair like a horse's mane. Every time I see you, baby, find you're often gone. I said every time I need you, well, I find you're often gone. You better slow down, they're gonna put your air brakes on. every time I see you. You're out there on that street. Every time I see you, baby, well, you're out there on that street. You're on the corner so much, you're like the police on his beat. Yodel No. There is a Jimmy Rogers song. Sure enough. The Singing Brakeman.
What's the name of that?
It's called Blue Yodel No. 4.
Thank you.
I think that is correct.
Karate. Karate. Es braucht am Anfang ja nicht unbedingt jetzt sie zu sein. Am Ende so perfekt wie immer Pi zu sein. Es braucht zuerst ja nur ein bisschen Spiel zu sein. So etwa 3-mal am Tag ein kleiner Handkantenschlag auf einen Ziegelstein. Karate. Karate. Sie kriegen Handgelenke wie Metall. Sie werden zur Granate und sind gewappnet gegen Überfall, Gewalt und Attentate. Und darum hilft es ihnen überall. Jawohl, Madame Karate. Karate.
Looks like the air conditioner's on full. Folks, it has been incredibly hot this summer, but you know, the Tulsa Sound Podcast is hot, and we're hot on these Tulsa acts. We are going to be having so much more here in the next month or so. Things are coming up. We're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about some shows.
We've got a live performance to show you when we come. Or we're going to go away. You'll see a live performance, and then we're going to come back.
Okay, so you go watch a live performance. We're going to go to the bathroom.
Coming up next is Todd Hardcreator and.
I thought that we just watched.
We did.
That.
We got a double shot from those
double
guys.
Shot at
Anthony
Todd.
Pierce and Todd Hardcreator doing Johnstown Flood. It's a hell of a song. It's a hell of a song.
It's a hell of an
Stick around.
Ozzy.
Stick around.
It's a
We're
Black
going to
Sabbath
shift gears
night.
entirely. In fact, we're
Here
going to throw
to-
the transmission in reverse.
Tulsa Sound Podcast.
It's the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Stay tuned for the Johnstown Flood
Oh,
from
yeah.
Anthony Pierce and Todd Hardcreator.
Yeah. Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
This is a song I wrote to the Johnstown Flood. They call them all. She let loose her water. Biggie's over Niagara. On the folks of old Johnstown. Oh, what a calamity befell the town that day. 2,200 dead, no one made pay. Oh, way down the line, I call out to the mountains. Oh, why would you take my family? That terrible Johnstown flood. Well, the rich folks fancied fishing, so they built a dam. It loose all its water on the folks of old Johnstown. Train up and loaded, miles from its rail. 2,200 dead that old frickin' never paid. Oh, way down in the valley, I call out to my Lord. Oh, why would you take my family in that terrible Johnstown flood? 700 tombstones lined on the hill, the most we never found, and I guess they never will. The 2,200 people lost their lives that day. 2,200 people, oh, Carnegies Bay. Oh, way down in the valley, I call out to Lord. Oh, why would you take my family, that terrible Johnstown flood? Oh, Lord, why would you take my family, that terrible Johnstown flood? You called them all, she let loose her one. There you go, Todd.
Contract. Where a trip from corner to corner takes you past fields of oil and cattle and grain. When you take on this much of Oklahoma, take it young, take it eager. New Chevelle by Chevrolet. You love Chevelle on the open road and on rugged trails. Chevelle Malibu Super Sport. A young, let's get on with it kind of car. Youthful luxury and style, inside and outside. But it's when you want to make time, that's when Chevelle's your baby. Chevelle, a great highway performer. Out here, it's not service stations back to back, so you don't stop much. And in Chevelle, you don't want it. A beauty. Built to thrive on great chunks of distance. And when you're heading for the horizon, here's a car that gets there in a hurry, thanks to its new zestful V8 engine. Chevelle by Chevrolet. A great highway performance. See your Chevrolet dealers soon.
Friends. There we go. The mute buttons. All right.
Wasn't that a fun commercial?
Our soundboard does not have a master mute. So sorry.
Man, that was great stuff from Todd Hardcreator and Anthony Pierce,
Yeah.
Cowboy Jones, Johnstown Flood. It's a heavy song.
That's great stuff
Heavy
from
song.
Chevrolet.
And great stuff from Chevrolet. It's an actual Oklahoma Chevrolet commercial.
You saw it.
Shot just for
You
us.
saw it here last.
See how many how little trees you saw in that ad. There were none.
We didn't have any.
Well, there was a time where we were just the plains and there were no trees. Nowadays, there's more trees than we've ever had before
That's
in Oklahoma. And speaking about that, on Manhattan Island, they don't have many trees.
No, they don't.
Mr. Eric.
Not well. On the sidewalks, kind of.
But our good friends of the show, Stephen White and Brad Abshire, have done a version of Manhattan Island Serenade over at Susan Cram's house, and I was lucky enough to catch up with them there.
Yeah?
And we have that live performance for you now from the Tulsa Tiny House Concert
I hear
Series
the audience in the background.
at Susan Cram's house. This is Brad Abshire and Stephen White doing Manhattan Island Serenade.
Roll that footage.
Ain't that a song? Leon.
There we go.
All right.
How about them twin guitars?
How about them?
Well, there we have it, sir.
Well, this sure has been a great episode.
So far, so good.
Yes.
What else have we got?
Well, that's it for tonight. We have come through it, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Wow.
We've done our rock and roll trivia. We've done our live performances.
There was a couple of things I wanted to mention.
Yes.
For anybody that's tuning in, around my band, the Sass Tones, we're going to be having a sort of an album release party, and we are planning that for sometime the second week of October. Right now, we're still working on a venue. We have a couple of things lined up. Our band, we got to release our album in the middle of the pandemic, and so we never really got a personal experience out of that. So we're going to do it now.
All right.
And we've been working on new
something
music.
to look forward to out there,
so,
guys.
We're going to let you guys know when it is. Hey, no laughing. No laughing. We love this, but they're laughing at me. Anyway, just wanted to kind of put that out there. And anyway, yeah, great.
Yeah,
so,
be sure and like and subscribe to the podcast.
What have we got next?
That is it.
Next show? No.
Our next show.
What's our next
Our next
show?
show, we're gonna do.
Don't make me talk like this,
I
man.
believe we're gonna try to have Scott Hutchinson on the show. Scott was supposed to be a guest a few episodes ago, but there was a hiccup, and I'm going to reach back out to Scott. Look for Charlie Red to be a guest soon on the show, and Mr. Cole Siegel to be a guest on the show coming up soon.
Yeah, Charlie Red should be up here, you know.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get Charlie in here, and we're going to have a great time. Go out and see Charlie Red. He just started a residency at Thomas Peach every Tuesday night. Go and check him out there. You will be glad that you did.
We're great at Ashioka.
Man, I'm telling you what, Dave Thomas Soup Bone is one of the best guitar players in town. And I got 1,000 arguments for that. So bring it in the comments, and I'll tell you exactly why he's good.
No one's going to argue with you.
Smashing baby.
Yeah, baby. Well, all right, folks. Well, we love you all. We're glad you're here.
We love you. We're glad you joined.
We're glad you joined.
Glad you're here with us.
Glad the Karate Girl came. There she goes, Karate Girl. And ladies and gentlemen,
this has been the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Roll that beautiful bean footage, boy.